So Dmitry Bivol vacates his WBC title in pursuit of that Artur Beterbiev trilogy fight. Obviously, they've had both, fights be really exciting, I guess. And I only say I guess because neither guy really got dropped. They were entertaining fights for the most part, but let's be real, we were expecting more. I think that's fair to say. In both fights, I feel like the fight was overhyped. Don't get me wrong, it was high-level stuff. Both fighters were, putting it all out there, to say the least. They both wanted to win that fight very badly because both fighters were trying to be undisputed at their respective weight. And Bivol, in my opinion, won both fights, even though he technically lost the first one on paper. I can't help but think that he's ducking David Benavidez, because if you look at it, I feel like David Benavidez is the most ducked fighter in the sport of boxing right now. You could say that really because the face of boxing doesn't even want to fight him. If you look at it and you see Canelo Alvarez, a guy that probably has the best resume in the sport of boxing that's still active, and he doesn't even want to fight David Benavidez. Meanwhile, Benavidez has been his mandatory at 68 for a while. Now Benavidez is obviously at 75, so this matchup between Canelo and Benavidez is looking less and less, likely to happen. But ultimately, Bivol and Benavidez was the fight that was supposed to go down, because you have guys that were intended to unify. But obviously, understanding that Bivol and Beterbiev both have one win apiece, you would think that, we all want to see the trilogy fight, but no one's really asking for that trilogy fight between Beterbiev and Bivol. I think we'd all rather see Bivol and Benavidez, because we feel like Bivol might have even won the first fight. So if you look at it that way, he basically, in our eyes, beat Beterbiev 2 times. So what's the point in the trilogy? It was 2 interesting fights, but ultimately it wasn't like anybody got hurt, like somebody got stopped. It wasn't that kind of fight where you could call it a fight for the ages. And even though it held a lot of meaning, both fights were honestly lackluster. You can watch them, but you're not getting that excited about the trilogy, are you? You'll watch it, but are you as hyped as you would be for a Pacquiao Marquez or a Maidana Floyd kind of fight? You know what I mean? So it's I feel like it's not fair to say that, Bivol, necessarily ducked Benavidez, but it kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like it because Benavidez was excited to make that Bivol fight happen. We heard about the sparring that took place. Apparently, Bivol got dropped by Benavidez with the jab. So, why not make that fight happen? Actually, why not make that fight that's gotten a lot of hype? There's history behind it. They've sparred before. Why not turn that fight into fruition? And by Bivol vacating his belt at, from the WBC, you look at it and say, why would he do that? Why would he give up a title just to make a Beterbiev fight happen? He already won the most recent fight, but he's pursuing the Beterbiev trilogy because I think he knows that, it's an easier route potentially for Bivol to win as opposed to David Benavidez. I'd favor David Benavidez against Bivol, but it's still a really close fight. Bivol has, the fundamentals down. He is a very intelligent fighter, and he's a composed fighter. He hits hard, he's awkward. So I feel like Bivol still has a good chance against Benavidez, but Benavidez obviously has that power. He's a monster. He's a Mexican monster. So, in that fight against David Morrell, I felt like David Benavidez looked very dangerous. I felt like he looked very good, even though it was a somewhat competitive fight. Everybody was calling it a close fight. I didn't really see it like a close fight. I don't think that there's any debate about whether or not David Benavidez won. I thought he won that fight convincingly, but we did see him stunned a little bit by David Morrell, because David Morrell does hit hard, and against Bivol it would be a difficult fight as well, because like I said before, Bivol has the fundamentals down, but he's also a very awkward fighter. He knows how to move, his footwork is solid, so let's see how Benavidez would face off with that. But now hearing that Bivol's vacating, we're not going to get to see that fight, which is unfortunate, because I don't really care about Bivol and Beterbiev Part 3, because they were good fights, but I'm not going to say they were legendary fights like Wilder Fury. It's not even close to that. But, I understand it's high-level stuff. They're very talented, very skilled, but I don't really care that much about the trilogy. I'll watch it, but it's not as big of a fight, or it's not as entertaining or intriguing to me as Benavidez and Bivol would have been if Bivol didn't vacate. But let me know down below what you guys think about Dmitry Bivol vacating the WBC belt. Let me know down below what you guys think if he's ducking David Benavidez, because Seems like it, but I don't want to say it and be disrespectful, but it seems like he's kind of ducking the smoke. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next Navs Boxing video. Peace.